Hey guys, it is Ronan with Ronan TV, and today we've got a nice new package from Azodin in the mail we're going to talk about. This is their new Blitz EVO2. So we're just going to start with general unboxing, show you the packaging, the features of the gun, compare it to some of their other product, how it feels while it cycles, and all that. So here we go. Our box is, basic cardboard. A little bit of foresight into this, in that this whole thing will fit in a U.S. Postal Service medium flat rate box. We got the gunmetal and coffee color pattern here, so let's open it up. It's just a simple little tab and flip box. We have some foam. It's cut out for the marker itself. Okay, we have our manual. I went through this a little bit earlier. It's small and there's not a lot of fluff in it, but it is very informational. Does what it needs to do. It's a manual, but it is thorough. So walks you through operation and parts lists, all that good stuff. Warranty card. Probably know what to expect there. Let's get into the good stuff here. Okay, so well, actually we'll look at the gun in a minute. I guess while we're on packaging, let's do a little comparison. This is looks like two pieces of foam. You got a back piece of foam there, and then a molded cut piece to keep the parts from hitting and shipping. This is nice. It serves its purpose. It's nothing too fancy. I can't help but think, and we're going to bring this in here for just a moment, the packaging they did on the KD2s and the KP3s is phenomenal. These are a much nicer, like laser cut. I don't know what kind of foam you'd call this, but it's much harder. It's a much more structurally firm foam. The manual is not just a simple staple down the bind. It's hard. The front and back covers, are like a much harder stock. I just feel like, I reach over here and get this Evo one back. You've got this flimsy little thing, this really nice firm this is like an initial impression comparing products. I think this is some of the nicest packaging that they've ever offered. Take it away. This serves its purpose, and I'm okay with it because it doesn't apparently add any cost. These retail at, I believe, $249, which when I get into the features and stuff, you'll see are just an absolutely pretty stellar value. I wouldn't want to spend another $10 or $20 just to have better packaging, or even $5. So now we'll get into the actual gun itself. Let's get a look at this thing. First impressions are that the colors are pretty nice. I don't see like any deep tool marks or anything like that. The milling is pretty slick. The ano color-wise looks uniform between all the parts of the same colors. All the gunmetal, and then all of the coffee or tan. There's a nice dust tan finish. It contrasts really well with the gunmetal. Okay, so let's give it a let's talk about the features and what's included. We talked about, you get the manual and the warranty card, the gun itself. We have a two-piece barrel. This is a 6.89, I believe. Bore size. We have our nifty barrel sock. We have a set of Allen keys and a rebuild kit with O-rings, a couple screws, detents, things that you'd probably you know, expect from a not low-end marker. Take a look, see if we can see down in there. Those are actually honed really nice. Both halves looks like. Okay. Also worth noting, while I have these out, if you have any of their other guns that have this, I think starting with the KD2 maybe, they had the and yes, those backs will also work with these. So if you have a you know, KD2s or KP3s or presumably the Z2s, you'll be able to use those barrel backs with these fronts, or vice versa, those backs on the fronts for the other Azodin series guns, which would also mean that these will be compatible with their two-piece carbon fiber barrels, and also this being a 6.89, if you needed something smaller, you could go and pick up you know, like maybe one of those black 6.85 backs that they, or 6.81 backs that they offer, or 6.85 even for the KP3. Let's put this all together and see how she looks all. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease in those threads. Okay. One thing to note with these is that they do not ship with a battery. At least this one didn't, so we're gonna have to get into the grip frame and do that. Zoom out a little bit here and get a better picture of how she looks put together. Okay, so features. This is a nice lever lock that they carried over from their other markers. It's the same as the one on the KP3, the KD2, I think the Z2. I believe they all share that same new style clamping feed neck. It's a real nice lever lock. Occasionally you'll get a little bit of wear on this inside collar after you use it a while, but it holds up pretty well. It's a nice little wave trigger, double trigger, matching anodized. This is the Rocksteady reg. I don't think internally it's any different from the ones that are on their other guns, and let me just grab this KP out of the molding here and we'll see. Aesthetically they're a little bit different. It looks like they come in a little bit more here and they pinch a little tighter at the bottom, but I don't think as far as functionality works that they work any different. So that's their Rocksteady reg. We have a dual set of eyes. We have a nicely anodized to match. That's just kind of a nice, you know, a little bit of aesthetic pleasing thought, I guess, going into anodizing these to match the frame and, you know, the coffee colored parts. Same thing with the ASA. We have these nice on-off ASAs. These work great. They use these on the KD2, KP3, etc. Their other high-end ones. Standard on-off does have a bleed, and you know, nice little two-tone color on her. Anyways, no macro line connects the two. This is a swivel on the reg, just like their other ones. So you know, you can kind of change the, you know, angle of your line if you wanted to run a hard line, you know, whatever. You have some flexibility with the hose and setting it because of that collar. This has a new Zen board. Top button will turn it on. I will get a battery in here. We'll get to that shortly in this video. Some nice laser engraving, EVO2. You can adjust velocity via both the mainspring tension as well as the HPR. Now, probably the coolest thing about this gun is this. This is not just a volume chamber or cap or whatever. This is actually the new Zero system. So if you're not familiar with what those are, it's basically a in previous models they were adjustable, and they were a way to basically manually set your dwell. Combined with the Feather Striker and And the spring setup in this allows this stack tube to operate at a really low pressure, under 300 psi, and it also allows, it creates a platform with minimal, I mean, when I mean minimal, I mean this does not feel like a stack tube blowback at all. Presumably, I haven't shot it yet, we're going to get to that. But if it shoots like their other guns with a Tune Zero system, it does not shoot like a stack tube at all. It doesn't have that kick. It doesn't have that. Kick's the best word I guess I can use. It's a very smooth platform, which is awesome. So I'm glad to see that they put this, which is a more fixed version of the Zero in. And the reason I say that is because while the original Zero is great for someone who is very mechanically inclined and understands the concepts of setting dwell and how to balance, you know, the Zero system with the mainspring tension with the reg input pressure, I think that it also caused a lot of confusion for people that didn't grasp the concepts, the physics behind it. So I think this should eliminate a lot of user error while maintaining the stability of what the Zero does in a shot-to-shot basis. So I'm really excited to get some paint and air through this and try this out. So initial impressions would honestly be that it's a really great looking gun. It is light. It's really light. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Looks like they even lasered little branding inside the breech there, which will actually be nice too. If you pick one of these up used, you'd be able to see breech wear by just how much of that lasering was still there or not, I suppose. Got a Delrin bolt, quick pull pin. Yeah, trigger feels out of the box actually really nice. There's very minimal side play. Very minimal, actually. It's light and it's snappy. Got a couple of easy adjustment screws from the trigger itself. Honestly, I'm not going to mess with that. I did notice that there is some residue on here from being factory lubed, and I can see in the hammer. It's going to be real hard to get that in there, but I can see a slickness or a wetness on the hammer. So it does appear that these are lubed from the factory, which is good. You always want that. Get in there, you. There we go. Okay. We've taken our 3 screw panels off, put a new 9-volt in, put them back on. We'll go over a little bit of a board overview for you here. It's pretty straightforward. It's an LED board. This is their newest model of their Zen board. You push this top button here. It's kind of hard to see. It is a button. It has an imprint there and there for the top and bottom buttons. Turns on in safe mode, so it will not fire in safe mode. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Bottom button will put it into fire mode, and then you can hear the solenoid clicking there. It's cycling right now because the bolt is in the breech, so the eyes are sensing something there. If we pull this back, it is not firing anymore. Our eyes are stopping it. Turn the eyes off. It's top button again. This will go orange, and then cycles. You'll hear the solenoid click again. So that's how you turn your eyes on and off. Turn the board on and off. You hold this on to turn it back off. This is your firing mode. This is easily programmable, and it's all in the manual. You just hold this button in. This will blink, and then you cycle through the colors. Each color corresponds to a different mode of fire. You've got your major tournament modes. You've got semi-auto, full auto, etc. I believe the semi's capped at 20. It's all in the manual though. Pretty straightforward. And then to turn the board off, you just hold that top button in. Ta-da! Okay, so here we are with some air and some reballs in the hopper. Markers turned on, in fire mode. The eyes are on. We're just going to put a couple shots through it to get a feel for how it cycles and what you can expect the stock trigger to feel like. It's set real close to the activation point, but here we go. So that's it in a nutshell. So we're going to turn this back off. It's the last of the reballs I have in this thing. See right here, get in here, this top screw right here, the bottom screw is your backstop on your trigger, top screw is your activation point. I'm going to back that out a little bit because right now it is really close to the front of the pool. But overall, it feels real nice when it shoots. It doesn't really have much kick at all, especially for a stack 2 blowback. Again, that's thanks to that zero system in there. So yeah, initial impressions are good.